Education spokesperson, Mr. Steve Mabona. Thank you, Steve, for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on the desk. Distressing images coming out of Klipspruit recently. What can you tell us at this point when it comes to those assault allegations?
Look, it's quite disappointing what is happening at Klipspruit West. I mean, we started in July. We went there, made some concessions, and we agreed with the representative of the community to say, let's make sure that whatever we do, we don't disrupt schooling. Because for us to recover, it's quite painful. It's quite an exercise that we will not achieve, you know. And they considered in one of the public meetings that we said to them, let's continue to engage, but let's not disrupt. So their argument today is that they wanted to block the teachers that they have, you know, allegations against, not to come in there. But in essence, what were they doing? Because now if the other teacher says no, it looks like some of our fellow colleagues are targeted and then they stop teaching. So it's a disruption in disguise, whether you justify or not. But what we are saying, all the issues that they are raising, we do have, because they've submitted that in a form of a memorandum to say, these are the complaints that we have against certain teachers. And we consider that we will investigate all those allegations, and we just need them to give us some time. They need to be patient with us so that we then nip it, you know. But then we don't understand it.
Look, Steve, we have reached a point of disruption. We didn't want it to go this way, but it is there now. And we are at a crucial time on the academic calendar. Classes halted. What kind of contingency plans are you as the Department of Education putting in place so the Klipspruit learners are not left behind?
Look, remember, we had said the grade 12s, we need to move them away from the area. Unfortunately, they are utilizing a different venue to write their preliminary examinations, you know, from that one. We are happy they were not disrupted. They continued with their examinations.
What about our grade 8s, 9s, 10s and 11s?
That's where we'll have a problem. But then we'll always have a catch-up plan. In any days that we lose, we have a catch-up plan and come up. But if it's on a continuous basis, it becomes a challenge for us. Hence, we will normally call upon members of the community not to disrupt schooling. We might find ourselves not, you know, understanding each other, not agreeing on any other issue. But we must not disrupt schooling, because for us to recover that, it's quite a moment task for us to do that. So we'll have those programs where
when will you implement those programs and those catch-up plans? Can you attach a time frame to that fast?
The dependency is within them, because if they continue to disrupt, it becomes a challenge for us. And one other thing that is happening here, the learners, because these are kids, they will then take advantage. Some, they will bunk classes, they will not come to school because they know there's some sense of dysfunctionality in a school. So they will take that advantage and not come, not even the programs that we introduce, not even attend. Because remember, when we agreed that we are not going to disrupt after the July saga, you know, we had a catch-up program. But out of 100%, I can tell you about 40% was committed to attend to the catch-up program. So it becomes a problem.
All right. We want to understand that your department was accused by a certain rights group of failing to act in the interests of students when it came to the dissolving of the school governing body. We want to understand how much of consultation and the level of engagement there was when it came to the dissolution of the governing body, Steve.
No, look, we've been engaging with the you know, the representative of the community in the steering committee. But what it was very clear, in the meeting where the decision of dissolving the SGB was taken, even the SGB agreed with the MEC to say, we are dysfunctional. Because remember, the purpose of the SGB in a schooling environment is to make sure that the schooling is it's fully functional. Now, if there's dysfunctionality, it means there's no need for you to exist. So they considered in that meeting that, yes, MEC, we agree. You need to dissolve us. So the decision was taken a long time ago. And moving forward, we said the appointment of the principal, which is a bone of contention, we'll investigate that. And we have referred that to the minister. We said the allegations of racism against some of the teachers, let's call upon South African Human Rights Commission, because they said there's other schools which are implicated, which they want racism to be investigated. We gave them that opportunity and say, we will also.
All right. I'm glad you mentioned that, because racial tensions persist at our schools, despite our efforts at local and national level to promote social cohesion. What are you doing as the Department of Education to promote education for social cohesion in a democracy, a fledgling democracy like ours, in multi-ethnic societies like ours?
Look, we are very strong on that one. I mean, you know, MEC, each and every time there's an issue of racial tension, I mean, we always push for non-racialism. Ethnicity, we always push for that. Social cohesion, we always go to our schooling environment and preach about it and say we need to have a sense of making sure that we are all together, there's diversity in our schooling environment. We are pushing. I mean, there's some.
So there are action plans around diversity management workshops, perhaps, in our schooling environments.
Definitely, because what we said, there was an issue about independent schools. That's where this issue was coming, that there's social cohesion issues in the independent school. Hence, last week we met with the independent school environment to say, can we iron out this? Let's talk about it. Let's see on how can we have an inclusive education, all of us. So we've agreed. But then we said there are some public schools which are predominantly white, and there's some resistance to change, and which we are working towards and making sure that we pin them out and so that they are cooperative in our
Thank you for your time, Steve. I'm afraid we are out of time for now. I'll have to invite you back to talk some more on that consultative summit that took place last week. But thank you for your feedback today. On that note, let's move